Hop in those headphones and let's get into the raw and real side of entrepreneurship, health, and what it takes to achieve success in pursuit of becoming your highest self. You are officially on the path to becoming resilient in every area of your life. Welcome to Resilience Unplugged. What is up, you guys? I'm so excited. I will let y'all know I am a little sick right now. I'm over the hump. I'm over the hard part. However, I still do have a cough and a sore throat, and I have a very stuffy nose, which if I sound different, that's probably why. If I don't, cool, just letting you know. If I sound nasally, this is the reason. But I am going to get into a topic that I think is really, really important for my high achieving females. These are things that I wish that I knew sooner, but I did not. So I'm going to share them with you. I'm sharing my mistakes with you so that you can make this year the year you become the most fit and wealthy you've ever been in your entire life. I made my fair share of mistakes in business and life in the last year. So in 2023, a lot of which ended up hurting me financially and also impacted my growth, which as a high achieving person, it's a really hard pill to swallow whenever you are the person who's holding yourself back. And I think sometimes we don't realize that. This was a lot in all these cases self-induced, which honestly, most times it is. However, I hope that me being able to give you insight as to how I break these things up and what I wish I would have not done may help you to become a more fit and wealthy version of yourself this year and learn from the mistakes that I made. So I first want to establish what it means to be fit and wealthy. These are two things that I believe every woman honestly desires to have and to be. And here is ultimately why I think that. When you are proud of your body because of the hard work you have put in to not only achieve the body you're in right now, but to be able to also maintain it, your confidence skyrockets. And I don't believe any woman wants to live with insecurity or the comparison mindset and to feel inferior based on her body. This is something I know I have struggled with, and fitness solves this. The second part is to be wealthy. To be wealthy is more than just money. It starts, in my opinion, with fitness. You build your confidence there, and then this will pour into every area of your life. You show up more powerfully in your business. Your marketing is more compelling because you are more compelling. You have more conviction in what you're doing because you are just at a different caliber at this point. Your dream clients become drawn to you because you have unlocked that most powerful version of yourself. And fitness starts this massive snowball effect, and it leads to more stamina in your business, a more fulfilled life, happier relationships, because you respect yourself and you grow closer to God and you become also spiritually wealthy. And all of this positively impacts your financial wealth. And you start making the most money you ever have in your entire life while being the most aligned you've ever been as well. And this is not by chance. This is all on purpose. It's all with intention. And it's because you started pouring into yourself and establishing how you wanted life to look. Started setting the appropriate boundaries in your life as well and made it a reality for yourself. And it all happened with the simple decision to stop living small and letting life happen to you and to take back the reins of your life again, to take back control of your life again. Starting with your health has catapulted you into the most powerful version of yourself, which is the most fit and most wealthy version of you. And this episode unpacked different things that I did this past year that I would recommend if you can to avoid so you can bypass the mistakes that I made and the trials and tribulations that I had to go through, and you can become the most fittest and wealthiest version of yourself in 2024. I could go on and on about the mistakes that I made, but I have done my best to split this up in different categories of life, kind of where these things show up and where I really take inventory of my life with how I believe the most wealthiest life I'm going to live, how those fit, and how they all work in tandem together. The first thing is health. Health is wealth. There is no denying that. There were points last year whenever I really started having my health issues popping up that I was hardly sleeping. I was living off of caffeine. I was working 24/7 and I was eating whatever the heck I was the person who would order her crumble cookies on Friday, have them for the whole weekend. I would order the 4-pack. I was living life. I was like, you know what? My body's fine. I'm in a good spot. I'm the healthiest that I've ever been. And this was the downfall of my health. So, my biggest recommendation for you is going to be to always prioritize your health, optimize your circadian rhythm. Make sure you are drinking enough water. Make sure when you're training, you are also fueling our body with the proper nutrition afterwards and before. Make sure that we are eating enough throughout our day and we're eating a lot of whole foods. I have made a massive pivot when it comes to how I look at nutrition. I used to be a macro coach to a T. If it fits your macros, we're good. That's fine. I now have become more ingredient conscious on my health journey I'm currently on. I'm also dairy free and gluten free. I'm eating, honestly, 98% whole foods. This past week I had Chipotle and that was still more whole foods, right? But I don't eat out right now. I'm just not able to. I'm on a meal plan, but I have made a massive pivot on what I look at as healthy when it comes to nutrition because I was, again, like I said, very much the if it fits your macros kind of coach. And that's what I followed to a T. And now I am really focusing on more whole foods, looking at ingredients, looking at the fillers that are in all of these foods because they can play a massive role in your overall health. And I have found that out firsthand. Without your health, you are missing a piece of the wealth pie. The second thing that I looked at was my spirituality. I believe that when you are spiritually wealthy, you have a superbly better life and you have a life full of service. Whenever we are living out of service and we are trying to truly become the best version of ourselves and live more Christ-like and really just be so founded in our faith, life is just so much better, you guys. And so spiritually, I was weak. I was not in the word daily. I was looking at prayer not as the first response, but I was looking at it as my last response. And I was crying on the floor, like, God, please help me. I'm struggling. When I was in need, when I was hurting, I was not looking at my faith as something that was keeping me grounded. I was looking at it for when I needed something. And that's the wrong way to go about faith. At the end of the day, faith is a relationship with God. You have to uphold your end of the bargain. God's there for you. He's like, hello, I'm trying to be here for you, but I gotta, it's a two-way street, right? And he will always meet you where you're at, but you have to be open to allowing him to meet you where you are at. And you have to be willing to accept the direction he wants to take your life, developing that relationship. Because if you are only praying whenever you need something, think about that. If you had a boyfriend and he only came to you whenever he needed something, that would not be a very soul-filling relationship. That would not be a very good feeling on your end either. You would feel used, right? He is wanting to do so much good in our life, but that has to be reciprocated. We have to want that relationship to be there. And so I was lacking a lot in this area. And again, I only really turned to God whenever I was hurting or sad or just like at my breaking point. That's whenever I was turning to him. So I have really focused this year on making sure I'm always in the word every day, praying consistently. When I wake up in the morning, I have worship music on because I want to start my day in a place where I am in the correct posture to serve. My job is service. Like I am a coach. And so I have to come from a service mentality. And if I am not in a good headspace when I first wake up, if I go into my phone in the morning and I'm not pouring into myself first thing in the morning, I can't show up as the best possible coach for my clients or on social media when I'm marketing different things. I'm just like not in the best posture. And so I have found that when I wake up, don't have my phone on me. I don't go and check social media. I don't check work stuff. I have worship music playing or I'm listening to a sermon. I'm going to do what's going to set me up for success. That's not going to be scrolling on Instagram and checking my notifications or looking at my work stuff. That's going to be what's going to make me feel at peace, what's going to make me wake up and not be in an automatically cortisol inducing environment. How can I start my morning, fill up my cup, and just be able to start my day with the best posture possible? And that for me has been worship music in the morning, no phone, just starting with this slower morning and not this like crazy, heightened, chaotic situation I had going on prior. The next aspect is knowledge. Knowledge is wealth. There is no way you can deny that, okay? I got to a point last year where I stopped learning. I was consuming, but I was not retaining information. I also was not reading anymore. I did 75 hard last year, and with 75 hard phase 1, 2, and 3, I did fail phase 3, which really sucked. I was reading a lot, and then once I stopped that program, I stopped reading. And that directly impacted me as well and impacted my ability to continue to lead the most wealthiest life possible. And it's important to like remember there is different kinds of knowledge, right? There's going to be like your common generic knowledge, and then there's going to be your specialized knowledge. Specialized would be for me would be research paper, really keeping up with literature on health and fitness. And there's more generic knowledge, like learning about current events and things of that nature. I think it's important to know both, right? It's important to be able to dive into both. So like find your sources you want to be able to learn from and gain the knowledge you want from, and have a source you can tap into quickly every day to be able, like, whether it's like one paper you're going to read a day, or you're just like reading a part of the literature and you're kind of breaking it up throughout the week, you're going to read one research paper. Or if you want to like have an app where that's your news source for the day, you're going to like look on the top 3 current events you want to look into, and you can just like graze over those so you have some kind of idea what the current situation is in the world. I think it's very important to have those kinds of knowledge things to tap into every day. Another good thing is like brain games. It sounds weird, but there's an app called Elevate, and it's like spelling games and association, and it just makes you more sharp for your day. So even doing something like this, having 10 minutes of your day to like playing the brain games, is such a good way to keep you keen and keep you sharp. Financial wealth is the next bucket. With financial wealth, there's lots of different caveats to this, okay? I'm going to tell you what first I did wrong, habits that I have had for a little bit now, and things that I've also implemented from this wrong thing I did to be able to create a more financially wealthy future and current situation for myself. So, listen, I last year was drowning in business. When it came to my data trackers and all of that, it was very overwhelming. I am not a math person. Math and numbers honestly overwhelm me, and I've had to get over that with having a business. But whenever you're already stressed out and overwhelmed, doing something that just automatically, whenever you're in the best way possible, it already overwhelms you. It was just a lot. And so I would fill out my financial data tracker, which is going to cover my margins, my expenses, overhead, at the end of every month. This was a very, very bad way to do this, because what happened is I was no longer playing the proactive game when it came to business. I was playing the reactive game. So I would see at the end of the month, I was just like spending stuff because I had ad spend, I had employees, I had all of these things I had overhead. I was used to making a lot of money, right? And so I was just giving all this money out. And I was like, it's going to pay off, it's going to pay off, it's going to pay off. Well, there came a point where it was no longer paying off. And I was at that point becoming reactive with my money because I was like, crap, I'm in the negative. This is not good. And so doing so, I used to do my financial status updates at the beginning of every week. It wasn't at the end of every month. So by doing so at the beginning of every week, I know my financial situation before I even enter the week. Okay. I check all of my accounts, business, personal, current bank account. I check everything. And then I also go through QuickBooks too. But my actual financial spreadsheet that I update will get updated every week. And in doing this, have now been able to be more proactive in how I approach finances and know, for example, okay, I can't invest in this at this point, or hey, I have a little bit more extra this month. Let's go ahead and invest it in this area. It helps you to get a better awareness of where things are at and how things are being utilized. And again, it's not going to put you in the spot of, oh crap, I spent too much this month. It's like, okay, we're getting low. Let's pull the reins back a little bit, because we are not going to get to a point where we're ever negative again. So I would recommend with financial wealth, things I've implemented is, again, checking my bank account every day is really, really helpful. Like, don't go on your phone first thing in the morning. For one, don't go on your phone first thing in the morning in general, but don't go on your phone first thing in the morning. Go open up Instagram and TikTok and all these social media apps that are going to not help you propel forward in life. Let's focus on what can I do? Brain games. Check my bank account, okay? That way, again, your current status, the current situation and the current climate of where your bank account's at and where you are. And you also will probably be in a better financial spot as well, because you are going to be so knowledgeable about where your current financial status is. There's no like, oh crap, I'm going to get overdrafted, or I can't make this credit card payment this month. And the more knowledge you have with the status of your financial situation, the less stressed you're going to be. And if you are stressed out because it's not a good situation, you're going to know exactly what needs to happen. It's going to help you to really get the ball rolling and making sure that you change this as soon as possible. Relationships are also a part of the wealthy lifestyle pie. Listen, God did not create us to be alone, okay? And if you listened to podcasts before, I went through a season of solitude. If you don't know, I had to remove a lot of people from my life. I just was growing a lot, and the people that I was around were not conducive to who I wanted to become. And so I had to go through a season of solitude, being alone. And I got really comfortable with that. I'm pretty great at being by myself, if I'm being honest. I have always been pretty independent, and so I don't need to be with people. However, God did not make us to be by ourselves. We are supposed to be in community. I really focused the last half of this past year on getting around a good group of people. And I have literally been able to meet the most amazing people in doing so. And it's been so great and so fruitful. And so I really challenge you, if you are in a season of solitude because you need to meet new friends, like put yourself in positions to meet new friends. Go to places that you know that people that you want to be surrounded with and be around would be hanging out at, whether it's coffee shops because they're working, or church, or the gym, or whatever else you can think of. Just put yourself in places that people that are like you and that you want to be surrounded with would spend their time at. That's going to be a huge thing in you being able to break out of your season of solitude and become in a season where you are around people who are like-minded, supported, who challenge you, and people who are on the same path as you and that you respect through and through. That is literally, having that kind of friendship is unmatched. And I 100% recommend challenging yourself to put yourself out there. And also, if you are in a season of solitude, you have not yet met your people yet, just keep refining your craft, keep becoming a better person, keep becoming and focusing on becoming the person that those friends would want to be friends with. Because if it's going to suck if you meet people that are amazing and you're like, well, crap, I kind of just sat back in solitude by myself, doing nothing. I focused on business, but I haven't really become a better person yet. So can I be the friend that people want to be friends with yet? Not yet. So they're not going to see that value. You want to be able to make sure whenever you meet these people, they see the value right off the bat. They're like, you're someone I want to keep around because you've done the hard work. You've put in the consistent effort to becoming a better person. And it's just going to be able to make sure whenever you do meet those people that y'all hit it off, and they are going to become people you are going to have in your life, for life, people to do life with. That's what I really wanted. I prayed a lot for that, and I'm really grateful for the people I have found in the short time that I have really focused on cultivating a good community and relationships around me. Time is wealth. Time is the one currency that you can't get more of. So it's really important that we are focusing on where our time is going and time management. I'm really usually great at time management. I'm great at a schedule. I'm a really big type A person. I go by my calendar. I have a to-do list for everything. I'm really great about that. However, earlier last year, I would say, not earlier, I would say it started around probably March and ended around October. I became very consumed by things that were not urgent because I was displaying people pleasing tendencies. I've never been a big people pleaser. However, owning a business has brought that out in me because I really want people who are working within the Resilient Woman to love what they're doing, to feel fulfilled, to feel seen, to feel appreciated. And I wanted to make everyone happy. Like I was so focused on making everyone happy. And in doing that, I made no one happy. The people, the hard the hard truth is that I had to come to terms with was the people that you usually start a business with or that kind of get you off the ground are not the people that are going to get you to the next level. That's just kind of what happens, because you need a different skill set at that point. I reached a point in business where I was needing to make a lot of pivots and changes because the direction I was going in was no longer what I wanted the Resilient Woman to be. It got a lot of pushback. I have always made it a point to be a safe place for people to be able to come to me and express how they're feeling. And I do that with people who work with me. And so this became a breeding ground for wreaking havoc on my mental health. Because I was like, oh my gosh, this person's so mad. They think this, I need to change this. And I just literally, when someone said something, I would try and make a change automatically because I thought that's how I'd make them happy. But then they come back with something else and something else and something else. And so I was no longer doing things for the health of the business. Instead of looking at the data and saying, you know what, does actually carry validity? Like, can I make this change and do it with the intention of having everyone benefit from this? And I didn't look at it that way. I would just literally operate off emotion. I was like, you know what? They're unhappy with this. I can make this change easily and quickly. Oh, they want to get paid more? Cool, cool. I'll do this instead. And I was just consistently making all these changes. And it was never for the health of the business. It was for the benefit of making me feel good that they were happy. But that happiness didn't last very long. I, in turn, was hurting the business and myself, which is not something you want to do if you're a business owner. So I learned the hard way in that regard. The last thing that I will talk about and that I think is super crucial in having an overall wealthy life is going to be yourself. How you talk to yourself, how you pour into yourself. That is wealth on its own. And I became so focused on what that next step was in business that I was not taking care of myself. I was not looking at like, how can I pour into myself? How can I put myself first in the situation? Business came first. My employees came first. Leo, my dog, came first. Everything came first. And I was very quickly last on my long to-do list of things I had to get done. And in turn, my self-talk started going down. Because if you think about it, I was eating like crap. I was not sleeping. I was putting everyone's opinions above my own. I was not spiritually healthy. I financially I was not fully in the know of like where I was at. I was kind of avoiding it, to be honest, because I was operating more off of a reactive mentality than a proactive mentality. I wasn't learning anymore. Like I was just becoming personally weak, and that directly impacted my self-worth, how I viewed myself, how I respected myself. I was just drowning in self-doubt. I was never focused on putting myself first, and quite frankly, didn't know how to make it happen again because I had gone so long without doing so. I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine. I can operate off of just nothing. I am good. I was not good. Okay. I was not good. I believe a big part of the wealth of yourself and how you view yourself is self-respect. And I was, to be honest, being hit left and right. And I was just taking, I was like, get me, hit me. What's next? Come on, come on. And eventually, to get like kind of give you a picture, imagine like a UFC fighter almost being tapped out. Like you're almost like wanting to tap, but you're like, not yet, not yet. That was me. I was like, I'm not going to. You're going to take me out first. It was rough. I lacked a lot of self respect in those areas. Like I just explained the whole entire list before this of kind of where I was lacking self respect. If I had self respect, those things would not have happened. But again, I had just lost so much respect for myself in the pursuit of building the best business and trying to make everyone happy around me and having the best company culture and the whole 9 yards. And I don't want that for you because this one area, my lack of self-respect, directly impacted my ability to become the fittest and wealthiest version of myself I could in 2023. And I don't want you to fall into the same downward spiral that I did. So, to help you to see where these gaps are, to give you the literal roadmap, I am running a free 5-day mini challenge and I am freaking stoked for this. And it's called Romanticizing Self Respect because we are going to respect ourselves from here on out. And we're going to romanticize how we do that because it is the most highest form of self-love you could ever give yourself. So in this challenge, I'm going to give you the groundwork for how to become the fittest and wealthiest version of you in 2024. You're going to discover what your biggest sticking points are, how to overcome them without having a massive time commitment on your hands, why self respect outweighs self love any day of the week, and really learn the realistic approach to fitness as a high achieving woman. The challenge is going to start February 19th. So if you want to get in on this, which I highly recommend that you do, message me over on Instagram and I will make sure I get you solidified and get you a spot saved. I am freaking stoked for this. I already have had a lot of y'all sign up, so I'm so excited. We're going to kill it. This is going to be literally the best group ever. We're just going to have a bunch of high achieving BA women just getting after it. And I cannot wait. If you have any questions, shoot me a message over on Instagram. I'm the most active over there. But if you want to, again, join the challenge, also message me over on Instagram and I'll be able to get that spot saved for you. And again, it's totally free, doing it just to help you and help you to better yourself to start the journey of becoming the fittest and wealthiest version of you in 2024. Hopefully this episode was helpful for you. Please share with a friend, like, rate, and subscribe. It really helps me out on this platform, and I will talk with you next week. Have the most amazing week ever, and go be resilient.